Oh, you got her, dude. She's down.
Let's go.
Dude, I just shot a deer of a lifetime.
Freaking smoked him.
One with nature, and if you're a believer, one with God.
Definitely gets your heart pumping. Boy, you are in trouble.
Fall Obsession Podcast.
Well, welcome back, everybody, to another Fall Obsession Podcast episode. I am Sam Thrash with Fall Obsession, once again hosting you guys for another week here on our Fall Obsession Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. And joining me once again, finally, after a long spell, it seems like, is our media production manager, Nick Powell. Welcome back, buddy.
Hey, it's good to be back. Glad to be here.
It's been a minute since you were on here.
Yeah, we just had a lot of stuff going on. Had to take care of a few things, but it's time to get back at it.
Yeah, well, that's all of us right now, man. I mean, I was looking at today, and I think it was episode 52. The 1 year mark was the last one that you're on, and
I know
it's episode 60 now, which is pretty crazy. But
they're flying by.
Yeah, and if you guys
time flies when you're having fun, I guess.
Exactly, yeah. And if you guys can't tell from the audio, Nick and I normally do record in person together, and we're not even getting to do that right now. We're recording over the old FaceTime at the moment. Yep. And that's, like Nick said, things have just been crazy busy, and we haven't even had the chance to meet up and knock out podcast episodes. So we're making one work here this evening over the interwebs. So
yeah,
hopefully.
I do need to go pick up a couple of deer from Cinnamon Creek, so maybe we could set up a day.
Yeah, I forgot that you still had deer in there.
I know.
Need to get those taken care of.
For sure, I need some meat in the freezer.
Well, it's waiting on you.
I know.
Well, anyway, guys, we're keeping it pretty casual for this week's episode. Our goal is to just go over some turkey hunting stuff and some stuff that we're working on here at Fall Obsession for this turkey season. I know we got a bunch of stuff in the works right now, which is pretty sweet. And I guess I'll start off by talking about our turkey hunt competition, because that's kind of front and center of a lot of our campaigns at the moment. So
yeah, that's exciting stuff.
So if you guys haven't heard, we're doing a 2021 turkey hunt competition. We're allowing guys to team up with their hunting buddies, whether it's a friend, a family member, a father-son duo, whatever it might be. We're letting guys team up and come together to compete. And it doesn't matter where you are in the United States, you can enter, you can compete, and we actually have cash prizes for our winners. And I kind of want to go in a little bit of detail on that for those of you who haven't heard yet, because I know we've plugged it on the podcast before. I know you guys have probably seen some of our posts on social media, but if you haven't actually made it to the webpage yet, you're not really going to know how it works. So I thought that today would be a good opportunity to kind of break some of that stuff down for you guys. So like I said, 2-man teams. Once you guys register, we send you confirmation with the details on how to submit, your turkey kills and everything. And let me, I know I'm jumping around, but let me also say that just because turkey season started doesn't mean that you're behind the 8 ball. As long as you get your birds killed before May 16th, which is just under a month away, then you're good. You can still register and get in on it. We've really tried to kind of incentivize it for you guys and give you guys some motivation to get in there and actually win some cash money. So we're taking a percentage of what we make off the entry fees, and we're dividing them into 3 different cash prizes for you guys. The first category basically that we're scoring birds off of is beard length. So you and your teammate, your 2 beard lengths will be combined together for your total team beard length, and then you'll be ranked based on that. And obviously the person with the longest total beard length is going to win a cash prize. We do the same for overall spur length, taking the longest spur length off of each bird and then combining them together, and then overall weight as well. So those are 3 different categories that we have cash prizes for you guys. And again, the cash prizes are based off of the entry fee, so the more people we get to register, the bigger the cash prize is going to be.
And I just want to clarify a couple of things, Sam, for the listeners.
Yeah.
That the beard length. If a turkey has multiple beards, if a turkey has 3 beards, you're going to take the total length of all 3 of each beard.
Yes.
And then add them together, and that'll be your measurement for that. And then the spur length, you're taking, and this is more of a question, but you're taking the longest spur, so you're not adding the length of the spurs together. Is that correct?
Yeah, so that's what we came up with, and I mean, next year we might, if we get enough feedback on it, we might change it to adding both spurs together. But right now, like if you kill a bird with a 1-inch spur and a 1 1/4 inch spur, the 1 1/4 inch is what is gonna be the stat that you take down.
Gotcha. And then you're adding that to your partner's longest spur as well.
Yeah, and then your partner's longest spur length will also be taken down. They'll be combined together. The beard length, though, turkeys with multiple beards are just so cool. We couldn't ignore, not putting those together. And they need to be, distinguishable. Oh my gosh. Can't talk already. They need to be distinguishably separate beards. But as long as they are, then we'll count that all toward your total. So
awesome. And then the turkey weight, is that you shoot the turkey, immediately weigh it, or is that gutted, or is that like a turkey you'd buy in the store?
That's as it dropped. So you take it back to camp, you put it on a scale, and you get your weight off of it. So
there you go, folks.
Yeah, like for example, our first contestant that actually submitted a bird that was killed, his weight in it, I think 21.03 pounds.
Nice.
was the weight. And so you guys take photo evidence of all these measurements and statistics and send those in. And then we obviously enter them. We have a live leaderboard on our website that we update every time we get a new entry in. So you guys can actually see where you're sitting and kind of be able to maybe predict if you're sitting pretty good, but then somebody bumps you, your partner's got to kill a good bird, or something like that. So
yep.
It's a pretty cool deal. We're trying to build that camaraderie and let guys come together and hunt as a team. We really wanted to do it with a turkey hunt competition because with turkey hunting, I think it's a lot easier to be able to hunt in pairs or groups than it is with, deer hunting or something like that.
It just comes a little bit more natural with, you have somebody with a gun, somebody calling, somebody looking out, so that it definitely works a little bit better with 2 people. So.
Absolutely. And then we have some additional prizes that we're throwing in the mix. If you guys do have the opportunity to actually film your hunt and you send that video in, we will not only publish it on our pages and give all the credit to you guys and everything, but we're also going to enter you in a separate giveaway contest. For every filmed hunt that we get sent in, we're gonna put them in a pool and pick a giveaway winner for some additional prizes. And I still gotta throw out there and announce officially online what those prizes are gonna be. So you guys stay tuned for that. But that's another opportunity basically to get in on some stuff. So right now we have several teams signed up. I think we got 9 teams from across the country signed up. And again, you guys don't have to be in any particular state. If you're in a United State that has turkeys and you turkey hunt, you can enter. As long as you follow all your state's rules and regs, you're in. So get in while you can. Get in while you can. There's also an opportunity when you guys register. We give you the option to throw in some fall obsession hats for basically half price for company costs. So you guys can get some hats, or you can just register if you already have a fall obsession hat and don't need another one. But you always need another one. So
absolutely, can never have too many.
Absolutely. And on that note, we do have some new turkey hunting hats in stock this year. Our Spring Thunder line, it is a limited line, so once they're gone, they're gone. And I'm actually surprised. We did a pre-order on these before they even went online, and we sold more than half of the inventory we had coming in just the pre-orders. So that was pretty awesome. That was pretty sweet. They moved pretty quick, and like I said, we do still have just a handful left. There's not many, so if you guys want one, I encourage you guys to go to fallobsession.com and pick one up, or if you register for the contest, maybe you're getting one heading your way with that. So anyway, go register. That can be found at fallobsession.com/hunt-competition. That's the web address, and we will also put it in the description of this podcast. That way you guys can click on it and go check everything out. All the nitty-gritty details that we just described to you guys are on there, and then probably the ones that I forgot to talk about are obviously on there as well. So.
Yeah, I need you to bring me one of those turkey hunting hats to the station.
Yeah, I keep forgetting, and then I've been off work and you've been off work, and you know, it seems like we're, I don't know, I hardly ever see you anymore. I feel like for these past 7 weeks.
I do too. That'll change.
Yeah, it will. It goes in waves, it seems like. But
right.
So, what else we got? We got a turkey call this year too.
We do, and
actually,
it is sweet.
Yeah, actually, I think you and I were both out at one point today playing around with that in our separate areas. But yeah, guys, it's pretty sweet. It's our first ever gear product to really have online, and it's worth every penny because it's handmade by one of our own blue collar outdoorsmen, our pro staffer Adam Seitz. He hand makes them up in Pennsylvania. They're super custom, they're super high quality, and they sound terrific. So I'm really looking forward to being in the woods with it this spring. I know you are too, Nick. And
absolutely.
We got several staffers on our roster that have them in their hands this year as well. One of which I'm waiting to hear back. I think we might already have one bird on the ground from a Fall Obsession turkey call, but
I think so.
I haven't gotten confirmation on that yet, but I'm hopeful. So
I'm hoping to knock one out next week.
There you go.
So we'll see. I'm supposed to go out, hit the woods next week, hunt for a couple of days, and I'll be using the turkey call. So we'll see how it works.
Heck yeah.
Also should be entering the competition, so hopefully that'll go over well too.
Yeah, there you go. Well, with that being said, man, I wanted to take a minute during this episode to kind of jump back and look at some past turkey hunts that we've had, and kind of cover those real quick, give guys something other than just us plugging our own stuff.
Heck
for this week's episode. They didn't come on here to listen to us ramble about what we're trying to sell. So
right, yeah, stories are always fun.
Yeah, but a good one to start with, I think, is I know we've actually talked about it on the podcast, but it was a long time ago. It was last year when we started the podcast. But you and I actually shared a turkey hunt, or a deer hunt turned turkey hunt.
Turned turkey hunt, yeah.
So I figured we'd kick that off and hand over to you and let you talk about that.
So a little bit of backstory. We were in St. Angelo for a staff hunt where we were doing a little bit of deer management for a guy who owns a ranch who's got a plethora of deer.
Yeah.
Me and Sam were hunting together. This was our second time to hunt together, I believe. Our second time in that hunt.
Yeah.
Because the first time you were up first, and so you got first dibs on the kill during the first hunt. And so then the next hunt, it was my turn. And there was this buck that we had seen that we had gotten a green light on, this coal buck. And so I was waiting on the coal buck, waiting. And then Sam said, dude, there's a big old doe. You better shoot her. That's the biggest doe of the trip right there. You better shoot her. And I said, nah, I better pass.
I was wondering if you were going to bring up the doe.
Yeah. I don't like talking about it, but I will every now and then. Turned out she was the biggest doe of the trip, and Sam actually killed her. So for the record,
What do you know?
Anyways, I was being stubborn, waiting on this buck, and then some turkeys came out. Nobody killed any turkeys this whole trip yet, and so this was going to be the first one, and I was pumped. And I also hadn't killed anything like a big game animal. I guess you'd call turkey a big game animal, but
it's a big bird, I guess.
Big bird, yeah. With my bow, I hadn't really killed anything major with my bow, so I was pretty excited to have those walk out in front of me. But anyways, I made the exception on these turkeys, and I smoked one right through center mass on this turkey, and took off about 20 yards and passed out in the bushes. So, but that was my first animal I've ever killed that's bigger than a squirrel.
First animal with a bow.
With a bow, yes, that's correct. Yeah, clarification there.
Yeah. So, like Nick said, we were in the stand together, so I was videoing for him. So this video is actually on our YouTube channel.
It is.
I believe we did publish it a little over a year ago as a standalone, so you don't have to dig through a hunting show or anything like that to find it, although it probably is in our Fall Obsessed Outdoors series.
Yep.
But the standalone video, you guys can see Nick's excitement on his face after he shoots this freaking turkey. His eyes were the size of golf balls, and he was all pumped up and excited. I don't know if I've never seen a reaction like that. I've probably had my own, but you can't see your own reaction. So that was pretty awesome.
That's why you record them.
Exactly. 'Cause, I mean, you can't repeat that stuff. And we've talked about it before when we're, filming or self-filming or whatnot, because, the discussion always comes up, hey, do you go back and refilm yourself, with your emotion and stuff? And you can never capture genuine emotion in a retake. So just a little tidbit for you. That's why it's always good to have a camera or a cell phone or something pointed at the shooter themselves, even if you're self-filming, because it can capture that genuine reaction. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and that was a exciting moment. Just watch it. There were 3 of them that came out running straight towards the corn, and they stopped. I remember it just like it was yesterday. You said 22 yards. Close ones at 22 yards. I said, all right. And it wasn't a giant bird, but it was a pretty good sized bird.
It was a turkey, and it was about to die.
Yep, that's all that matters. And it tasted great too, so I can't complain. It was a great experience.
I think it was Kurt Eckleberry. He said in a video, our latest off-season episode, actually, he said it doesn't matter if they're a longbeard or a Jake, it all tastes the same. So
that's exactly right.
So that was a fun trip, and like Nick already mentioned, that big doe came back to haunt him. So
yep, she got splayed out the next day, I think.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna make the same mistake. So she took an old slick trick straight through the lungs. So
yep.
But anyway, you got
Let's hear one of yours.
Oh man, one of mine. So I had one of the first one that comes to mind. This was actually the first time I ever killed a turkey. I was bow hunting. I was in a bow blind. And it was actually really frustrating for me because it was in the fall. It was during deer season, which in Texas, for those of you who don't know, we can kill turkeys in the fall. We have a fall season. Yep. So I'm sitting in this ground blind, and I hadn't really seen any deer, but there's honestly quite frequently turkeys coming through there. And I'd made up my mind, all right, if I see one, I'm going to smoke one. So I had this turkey come out, and or a group of them, I should say, and they came out like 5 yards from my blind. My blind was set up kind of on this tree line, which is right on the edge of a creek. It dropped, like there's a literal 10-foot drop down into the creek bed behind my ground blind, and I could hear like turkeys rustling around the other side of the creek. And the next thing I know, I look, and there's one standing right there, 5 yards, coming up off that steep drop off, and that whole line of them just come out, and I'm as still as I can be. I'm like, I'm not gonna mess this up. And they head out in front of me, start moseying around, and I pick out one that I wanted to shoot, and I shot, and it looked like my arrow like went straight through this bird. Like it sounded like a good shot, it seemed like a good shot, and the bird just stood there. It never even moved.
Whoa.
They all just stood there, and I'm like, what in the world is happening? And then I start questioning which one I even shot in the first place. I'm trying to figure it out because they're all just standing there, nothing moved. I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And so finally the one that I did shoot apparently just kind of walked off. Like it never made a ruckus or anything, and I'm like, screw this, I'm gonna shoot another one. So I knock another arrow and I shoot another bird, and that one flops around and everything and kind of runs off in the bushes. So long story short, I went off and found the one that I knew for sure that I'd shot. And I wandered around in that bush for, I don't know, probably a good hour after that, just looking for anything. And I swear to this day that I hit that bird. I swear to this day that I hit that bird, and I found my arrow, and there was a little bit of feathers on my arrow too. But I never found blood. I never found that bird or anything. So I was super, super confused. And the only thing I can think of is that I shot low or something like that, and all I caught was feather.
Yeah, could be.
I don't know. It was mind-boggling. But that, of course, and of course, that's my first experience ever shooting a turkey. So I really had no idea what I'm doing. Not that I do now, but I mean, so
Yeah, the good thing about if you're bow hunting, at least bow hunting in the fall for turkeys, is normally they're not on full strut.
Yeah.
So you can aim. You have a little more of a solid target to aim at.
yeah, more definitive, I would say.
Yeah.
The only downside is, and as you know, when we're hunting turkeys in the fall, it's just, it kind of is what it is. It's if you see them, you
It's
shoot them.
happenstance, yep.
There's no calling or really trying to make a super conscious effort to hunt them. I feel like it's more of just,
Yeah.
if they wander in, here we go. So
Yep. Exactly. Man, I remember the first turkey I ever shot, and it was with a rifle. And it was actually a hen, but it was during, I want to say it was during deer season again. Seems like all the turkeys I ever shoot are during deer season. but it was during deer season. Me and my dad were driving around the ranch, and he stops, and I'm like, thinking he sees a deer. I'm like, what? Wait, you know what's going on? He's like, there's a turkey right up there. And I stuck my gun out the window, and it was the easiest shot ever. Found it in the crosshairs, pulled the trigger, and then she didn't even move. She just fell over. And so I was really proud of that hen turkey. That I had no idea. I got a picture of it. I'll send it to you.
yeah,
And you can post it if you want to. But I got a picture of me holding that sucker up, and my little sister. I was probably 8 years old, super little, and that thing was almost as tall as I was. I was holding it up by the feet, But I was super proud of it. I think no, that was another one. Never mind. But I was super proud of that thing.
that's awesome. I remember growing up, we had a lease down in Central Texas, my dad and I, and we had, I mean, there's some interesting turkey hunt stories from out there. I never actually killed a turkey out there as a kid growing up. I think my dad killed one or two maybe out there. I'm not really sure. But one funny story that sticks out in my mind is, and my dad's gonna laugh when he hears this. He listens to all of our podcast episodes. But we were driving down the road in the Jeep, and we kind of came around this corner, and looking under this little clump of trees, my dad stops real quick and he's like, look at that, those are all turkeys, look at all those turkeys. And there's just a bunch of birds underneath this tree. And my dad, he has glasses for seeing long distance and everything, and he didn't have his glasses on. And he's like, get your gun out, get the gun, let's go try to shoot one. And I'm like, Dad, those are buzzards. And there was a clump of buzzards just underneath this tree, and with the shadows and everything, my dad was like, oh, those are turkeys. I'm like, no, Dad, those are buzzards.
That's awesome. In his defense, another name for those things is turkey vultures.
Turkey vultures, that's very true, but it is also illegal in the state of Texas to shoot them, so
I know.
It's a good thing that we were able to clarify.
Right. That's awesome. I got one more story. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Is another deer season turkey.
Man, have we ever killed a turkey in the spring?
I think maybe I've probably killed 5 or 6 turkeys in my life, and I think maybe 1 or 2 of them were in the spring.
I know I've killed more.
Not very many.
Yeah, I know I've killed more in the fall than I have in the spring. I don't really have a super cool and exciting spring turkey hunt story.
No, I don't either. Well, I guess I might have one. I think I have one.
Okay.
I can come up with one.
You'll make it exciting.
I'll try my best.
Embellish a little.
Yeah. But this one that I was about to tell you was it was a deer season turkey, and same kind of story. We're driving around, and my dad stops all of a sudden, says, hey, there's a bunch of turkeys, and they're probably 100 yards out, and they were at full sprint, full speed ahead. And he says, get you one if you can. And so I find them in my scope, and they are full sprint, and they're not slow. And so I find one, and I kind of aim a little bit ahead of it, squeeze the trigger, and I pop a shot off, and then I look above my scope, and all I see is a bluff of feathers out where I was shooting. And so like, dang, I guess I hit one. And so my dad was shocked as well. And so we get out and, we drive up there, we get out and we go look, and sure enough, man, I smoked one of those freaking turkeys. It was really cool.
Dang.
On the run. Yeah, it was exciting.
Sharpshooter.
I don't think I have a picture of that one, but it was an awesome experience. But I guess I should throw a spring turkey.
Yeah, that's kind of the time of year it is, and apparently I can't contribute very well, so.
Man, I don't know if our listeners, I'm sure some of them have, but I don't know if any of them. I'm sure there's some of them that haven't ever experienced a turkey at full strut coming towards you, but it is freaking awesome. And so one time, me and my dad were hunting this draw, and it there was a road, like a dirt road that come down in it. So there was kind of a hill in front of us because we were kind of sitting up on a point, and it's not a very deep draw. It's probably a 10-foot deep draw. And so there's kind of a hill that comes down into it. And if the road keeps going next to the point we were sitting on, and then it goes back up on the flat out of the draw. And so we're sitting on this point behind some trees, and it's a cool spring morning, not a cloud in the sky, super clear, dew on the ground. And we found where these turkeys were roosting. It's right next to a creek. This draw kind of drains into a creek next to us. And so we found these turkeys were roosting in some oak trees over this creek. And, we sit there, we start calling. My dad starts calling. And we see 3 gobblers coming down this road, coming towards us and into the draw. And man, the sun, it's like a picture freaking perfect. Like the sun's coming up behind them. All 3 of them are at full strut walking down this road straight towards us. I think my grandpa was there too, actually. And man, they just come all the way down, just like clockwork, come down the road, all the way down the road right next to us. All 3 of us shoot. And I guess they didn't know where it came from. They didn't know where the shots came from. So one of them flew directly over my head, and it sounded like freaking like a jet plane or something just flying straight over me. So I think I missed mine because we never found it. But I'll never forget this. My grandpa, he shot his, and it was flopping and flopping. So he walked straight over to it, stepped on its head, grabbed its feet, and then just ripped its head straight off.
Oh, no kidding.
I was like, heck yeah. And so I was like, but I was like, I think I was probably like 9 or 10 years old, and I was like, kind of took me by surprise. My grandpa doing that to a turkey. I was like, oh dang, grandpa, okay. But yeah, it was freaking incredible just seeing those 3 gobblers at full strut. The sunrise coming up behind them and everything else. But yeah, that's another one I'll never forget.
That's pretty crazy right there. That's awesome.
Yeah, my dad got one, and my grandpa got that other one, and then we never found mine. I was not much of a sharpshooter, I guess, but
You used up all your talents on them other 2.
that's what it was. I need to use it on the spring turkeys, not the fall turkeys.
Yeah. Well, hopefully next week that'll be what you do. So.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see.
Well, I know some of our other staff members are getting some birds on the ground. It's been pretty cool to watch. I'll throw his name out there. Our pro staffer Brendan Scott. He's been slaying it here lately. I think him and his fiance have both put down 2 so far. And I was actually talking to him earlier today, and they each have another tag in a different, I can't remember if he said a different county or a different state, but they both have one more tag to fill. So we're going to get him back on this podcast and talk about his spring turkey season after they get tagged out.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
At the rate he's going, I was pretty confident that they're both going to get another one. But
right.
If you guys haven't gone back and listened to Brendan's podcast that he did, it's episode 54 called Do It Yourself or DIY Colorado Elk, and very, very awesome podcast. Brendan is a outstanding storyteller, and he tells a story of kind of the 4-year journey into through unsuccessful times, and I know I'm getting off turkey hunting right here, but through unsuccessful
right.
times and into finally killing his first bull elk in Colorado, he did it all himself. And the story itself is just absolutely insane. And Brendan is, like I said, an awesome storyteller. So he really makes it entertaining with his story. So if you guys haven't gone back and listened to that one, you need to. Again, episode 54. It's not about.
I thoroughly enjoyed that podcast.
Yeah, not about turkey hunting, but you guys will love it all the same. So
yeah, for sure.
But he put one on the ground, and Kurt Eckleberry, I know he's got one on the ground. However, he's holding back on me, and I haven't gotten any of the photos yet. But he did say that he got it on video, so hopefully we're gonna have that video on our YouTube channel here pretty soon. So
sweet,
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I did get some videos from him. I hadn't looked at them yet, but
okay, cool.
I know it's gonna be good stuff.
Heck yeah, man. Well, guys, I know I said that we were keeping it casual this week, and that's kind of what we've been doing, just a little bit of turkey talk on here so far, and I hope it's been entertaining, just an entertaining light conversation for you guys to enjoy. But before we take it to closing, I know this is a shorter episode this week, but before we wrap it up, wanted to give you guys a little update, a little highlight on some podcast episodes that we've had to go back and check out if you are one of our new listeners, or even if you have been listening since day one and you just want to go back and revisit some of our previous highlighted episodes, basically. So, and I didn't really plan on it being, this episode, but it just works out that it's episode 60 that we're doing, another little recap on. So kind of another cool milestone. But
for sure.
Going through our top 5 most downloaded episodes like we normally do from time to time. 5th most downloaded podcast that we have is actually one I just mentioned, Brendan's episode 54. He has got that number 5 spot, which is actually the second fastest that we've ever had a podcast go top 5. So that
was pretty quick. That's
been pretty quick. And the other one is actually still in the top 5. But number 4 is episode 29, Wildlife Photography, with professional wildlife photographer Lance Kruger. He does a lot of photographing for a lot of the hunting magazines that you see on the shelves and online. So a very informative and interesting episode. You guys should go check that one out with him. He gives a lot of insight into not just camera work and photography, but also hunting tactics, because he's basically hunting with a camera. So that's a good one to go back and check out. 3rd most downloaded is episode 18, Just a Lady with a Bow. Our good friend Brittany Gaither joined us to talk about her journey into archery. It's a very, very awesome podcast with her, good conversation. So you guys go check that one out as well. And the other episode I referenced that was the fastest to ascend to the top 5, that's actually it right there. So 2nd most download, number 30, Mississippi Bow Hunters. Derek Eves, my man. He's
this ain't no game.
Yeah, this ain't no game, old Derek. Actually, we have another podcast with Derek called This Ain't No Game. But Derek Eves is a good friend of ours over in Mississippi. He is very involved, him and Lacey both, in the Mississippi Bowhunter Association, and they joined us for that podcast to talk about bow hunting in Mississippi, talk about their association. So a very interesting and informative episode with those folks right there.
Did I see that he had one on the ground as well, a turkey? Or was it Lacey?
Lacey had one on the ground already.
That's what I thought. Okay.
She put one down, and Derek,
awesome.
if you're listening, I'm gonna, after this turkey season's over, I'm following up with you too to talk some turkey hunting and how your season went. So I'll be reaching out. Number 1 most downloaded. You know what I'm gonna say, Nick. It hasn't changed since day 1, which is crazy.
Wow.
But episode number 1 is still the most downloaded podcast. And to this day, I don't know if that's just because people listen and then get bored right out of the gate and decide that it's not worth it, or if they thoroughly enjoy that episode. I will lean toward the second, but...
Man, it's going to be a wild day when there's one that tops that one, because ever since out of 60 podcasts, that one has been most downloaded.
I'll tell you, all 5 of these top 5, like, they could easily bump it, and it's kind of always been that way, but that number 1 episode is just held on strong. It's
just holding out.
Yep, it keeps climbing. So still the most downloaded episode we've ever had, which is
awesome.
Which is pretty awesome. So I'll just kind of hear recently some episodes worth going back and listening to off the top of my head that you guys might want to go check out. We had Kurt Eckelberry and his buddy Jeff Hasselbach on the podcast to talk about some spring turkey. If you guys want more turkey talk, go back and listen. I think it's episode 55, I want to say. Go back and listen to that one because that's a great one where they talked about kind of some previous experiences they've had and their expectations, some of the prep work they did for this upcoming season, or this current season, I guess, that we're in now. If you guys want a step away from our typical hunting talk, episode 49, episode 50, we sat down with, if you guys don't know, first off, Nick and I are both firefighter paramedics, and we sat down with fellow firefighter paramedic Tyler Carroll that we both work with, and he's also the founder of Dead Reckoning Collective, a veteran-owned publishing company. So just a very interesting conversation for those 2 weeks, not something we normally talk about when we discussed kind of entrepreneurship, fire life, military life, stuff like that. So just it's a interesting change of pace that we had at the time. So if you're interested in that, or if you're a first responder, that's one that you can go back and check out. I know we have a pretty big following of first responders here at Fall Obsession. So if you guys haven't listened to that, I encourage you to go back. And the last one, or I'll throw out two more. You, Nick, had a good one with Chad Allen Jones. I think it's episode 48. He talked about a really big deer that he killed, low fence free range deer that went well over 200 inches. Chad's an awesome dude, so we'll have to have him back on this podcast pretty soon.
Absolutely.
And the other one I'll throw out there, we had Miss Allie Butler join us in episode 53 to recap her Kansas buck from last year. Really awesome conversation with her, a little bit shorter of an episode, but really enjoyed having her on the podcast with us to talk about that deer and some of her hunting experiences. So go check that one out as well. But that's about all the recapping I'll do, unless you got anything you want to add, Nick.
No, those are all really good ones. I'd strongly suggest y'all go check them out.
Yeah, for sure.
And then just go ahead and listen to the other, 45 or 50 that we have. No big deal.
Yeah, just go listen to episodes 1 through 60 and you'll be caught up. So
yeah, exactly.
And while I hope you guys have enjoyed listening to Nick and I ramble on for another week here, I know this episode probably won't bump that number 1 spot. Probably won't go top 5 either, but I hope you guys have enjoyed our conversation all the same. It's been good to sit down, talk some turkey, and to get you back on the podcast, Nick. Like I said at the beginning,
it's good to be back.
It's been a spell, so... But guys, we'll conclude and wrap up for this week. We appreciate you guys tuning in. If you haven't already, go hit that follow and subscribe button on whatever app you choose to listen to your podcasts on. We are on all the major podcast platforms, and our episodes can also be found on YouTube and, of course, our website, fallobsession.com. And while you're on fallobsession.com, our podcast page on our website is fallobsession.com/podcast. On that page, we have a form that you guys can fill out where you can send us feedback on our podcast. We'd love to hear from you guys. We'd love to hear what your favorite episode is, what your favorite subject matter is, or what you guys would like us to talk about in the future. We are constantly bringing you guys new episodes. We've literally, for 60 weeks now, come out with a new episode every single Monday morning, and we'd like to keep that going. But I'd be lying, Nick, if I said that there aren't times where we're wondering what we even have to talk about next. So
every now and then, man, it's a struggle.
Yeah, it is. So during those times is when we really value some feedback and really value you guys' opinion. So if you have a topic suggestion, if there's a guest that you would like us to try and get on the podcast, or even if you yourself have something that you think we'd like to talk with you about, I know nobody wants to be like, oh, look at me, I can be on your podcast. But seriously, if you got something cool to talk about, we want to know about it. So Send us a message through that page again, fallobsession.com/podcast, and let us know what you think. You can also just ask questions if you have a question you want us to answer in a future episode. We'll do that too. On our website, that's kind of the hub for all our content, so you guys can go there to find all of our videos, reviews. We got a lot of gear reviews on there. We got some wild game recipes for you guys. All of our video series are on there, photos. It's the hub for all our content, so go check out our website, and we have some sweet apparel on there too. As we mentioned briefly earlier, we got that Spring Thunder turkey hat online right now. Only a few left, so go order one while you can. And then we also have all of our t-shirt designs right now are on sale. They're $10 for each t-shirt, which is a pretty sweet deal. So go pick you one up. We're trying to make room for some summer and eventually fall designs that we're going to be rolling out the rest of this year. So go pick you up a t-shirt. And then I guess while I'm talking about the website, I'll say again, turkey hunt competition. If you guys haven't registered, go sign up. All the info's on there. You guys can register on there, and you wanna get in on it while you can, because the longer you wait, the narrower that window is gonna get for you to be able to kill your birds. So get in and get registered. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot them over to us. We'd be happy to answer them. But all the info should be there on our website. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I will go ahead and throw this out there because if we haven't already announced it, we should be about to, and in which case y'all are getting a head start. But we're going to do a giveaway with one of our turkey calls that Adam Seitz up in PA has made for us. So that giveaway should already be running. If it's not, I apologize, but again, if it's not, it will be here pretty soon. So be sure you get entered to win that turkey call. You won't regret it. It's a pretty sweet call, and it's in our possession, so we'll get it to you. We'll get it to you ASAP, so you can use it in the woods this spring too. So
Heck yeah.
Nick, I can't think of anything else, buddy. What you got?
I think you hit the nail on the head, man.
All right, still plugging away. I don't know why people listen to me, but still, they do for some reason. So
that's all that matters.
I guess so. All right, guys, we appreciate you guys tuning in this week for another podcast. And as always, we will catch you again next week. We'll see you later.
Catch you later.